Straight out of Tuscaloosa are two great wideouts in Devonta Smith and Jaylen Waddle. Now that the two made the jump to the NFL, I think it's time to ask, who's going to have a better rookie year?
Raving about the way Sark uses his personnel, using Smith for a touchdown.
Complete throw to Jaylen Waddle. Jaylen Waddle off to the races again. Waddle, touchdown Alabama.
In the time that the two played together in 2020, Jaylen had over 550 yards and Devonta over 450 in only the first 4 games of the season. Not too shabby of a start for two of the best wide receivers in college football that year, at least when they both were on the field.
Taking the locker room, would go to the hospital, and Jaylen Waddle out for the season with a broken ankle.
On the opening kickoff return against Tennessee in Week 5, Waddle got injured and was practically a write-off for the rest of the season. Although rough for Murray and Jaylen, Devonta used the time to go off and win a Heisman, so that's pretty dope. No matter the case, Jaylen was able to come back in a limited fashion against Ohio State, and at least was able to do a little bit in their national championship win. Anyways, the two were some of the best players in all college football when they played, so now it'll be interesting to see what they can do in the NFL. Even with a limited resume as a junior, Jaylen showed enough in his first few games to prove that he had what it took to do his thing on the next level. When someone can have over 500 yards in only 4 games, then they likely have what it takes to dominate in whatever they do. His insane early season performance might be the reason why Jaylen went so high, and in fact higher than his bud and Heisman winner in Devonta. Going 6 overall means that the team has some real trust in your play, and as a result there will likely be a workload to match as a rookie. If Jaylen can produce like crazy in an offense with Najee and Devonta, then I'm sure he can put up yards alongside guys like Devontae Parker and Will Fuller. I don't necessarily mean that he is bound for over 1,000 yards, although it's possible, but something like 700-800 yards would be much easier for Jaylen than many other rookies. If we're being honest, I'm thinking that Jaylen is going to have around 850 yards and 7 touchdowns as a rookie. These are by no means crazy numbers, but you gotta keep in mind that Devontae Parker had nearly 800 yards in only 14 games, and on the other side of the field, Fuller had nearly 900 in only 11 games. Adding on to the fact that there are two great talents at the position already, Tua threw for just over 1,800 yards in 9 games started. Is this same production realistic in his sophomore season? No. I'm sure he'll pass for much more, but even then, this is not a Mahomes situation in South Beach. Although there is almost certainly a lack of yards to go around, Tua and Jaylen played together in Tuscaloosa, so if they can carry some of that Alabama connection to Miami, then Jaylen could quickly become the wide receiver 1. Nonetheless, I feel like Jaylen could have a lower ceiling than his Bama bud, unless Tua starts throwing that rock a bit more. Coming off of a Heisman season with the Crimson Tide, Devonta was one of the biggest prospects in the draft as you could probably guess. Although he was the best player in college football in 2020, there were tons of concerns about his lack of size at the position. At only 6 foot, 170 pounds, Devonta is much skinnier than pretty much all of his colleagues, but it didn't seem to affect him too much in Alabama. That's what confused me about the whole situation. If Devonta can win a Heisman at his size, then why can't he win NFL games the same way? Maybe there are concerns about the stronger defenders or his longevity, but I think his production in the SEC proves that he can take a hit. Anyways, Devonta likely dropped past his Bama bud and Jaylen because of the whole size situation, but it really doesn't matter as he still went 10th overall to Philly. Just like Waddle, Devonta is going to be reunited with his former Alabama quarterback in Jalen Hurts. It could be easy to forget, but the two played together for 2 years in Tuscaloosa and now have a chance to rekindle that bond with the Eagles. Although it's another situation of a former Bama quarterback and wide receiver being reunited, this is a bit different than the one in South Beach. In this case, it seems like Devonta is the main threat in the wide receiving core, and quite possibly the entire offense. Even though the Eagles have a solid running back in Miles Sanders, and underrated tight ends in Dallas Goedert and the very interesting Zach Ertz, they have had plenty of O-line problems that make it tricky to win in Philly. That's why Devonta has a major shot to go crazy with the Eagles. I mean, in an offense with really bad wide receiver depth, Devonta is in for a ton of attention. Although Jaylen passed for only just over 1,000 yards as a rookie, he had to deal with a measly O-line, split the offense with Wentz, and only really played in 4 games. With all this in mind, I think this is appropriate time for a bounce back year for not only Jaylen, but the Eagles as a whole, and I think Devonta could help them out with that. Something like 1,000 yards could be a reality for Devonta as a rookie, and in fact I think he'll be one of, if not the best wideouts in the NFC East and the rookie class this season. Before we talk more about these Bama boys, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe for more stuff like this, turn on noties in order to stay tuned, and grab a t-shirt if you want. Anyways, back to the video. Now that we gave some background on the two, I think it's speculation time. We know the two are both extremely good at what they do, so the main factor in this whole thing is each of their situations. Jaylen is in an offense with much more wide receiver depth than Devonta, and so he will likely have much less targets than the Heisman winner. Although his stats will probably be less than Devonta. That's not to say that he is worse or has less promise, instead that he will contribute in different ways. In Miami, the Dolphins are chasing postseason success, whereas the Eagles are just trying to compete in the worst division in football. Usually when you have a great player on a bad team, they can stack up yards and touchdowns and all that stuff, but it usually doesn't lead to that much success. A good example of this has been Christian McCaffrey in Carolina. My man CMC can go wild and the Panthers just won't win. This is similar to how I see Devonta's season shaping up, and the stats will likely put him in the Rookie of the Year talk. On the other side, Waddle is likely in for less yardage and touchdowns and all that jazz, but he will be able to contribute to a much better team. Trying to speculate which is better than the other is tough, but for argument's sake, in terms of actual production, Devonta is almost certainly going to have a better year. But on the other side, Waddle and the Dolphins are probably going to put up much more wins and have much more success. So the win goes to, drumroll please, Devonta Smith. He'll put up great stats, but the actual team success will likely be second to Waddle outside of a crazy year by the Eagles. Who do you think is going to have a better season? Comment down below either Waddle or Devonta and why. Anyways, Waddle and Devonta did their thing at Alabama, and now we're looking to carry that success into the NFL. But will they?
Below it to the end zone, in stride to Waddle.
Jones scanning the field. Lobs one, Devonta Smith. Touchdown, Alabama!
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed, it would be amazing if you could subscribe, like, and comment down below what stuff you want next. Anyway, see you all soon and peace out.